Swinging a drive. Get up, bar. He's done it again. A two-run shot in the first.
Is Ross Atkins going to be MLB's Executive of the Year for 2024? Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sharing a few minutes with us as we discussed what went into the decision-making behind our kind of unremarkable offseason for 2024. Let's jump into the discussion, Logan.
Remarkably unremarkable.
Yeah, remarkably unremarkable. Exactly.
Because we're about to remark on it.
We are going to make some remarks. So, we have been down. A lot of Blue Jays fans have been down on Atkins.
Down
On him for sure. I think if you started calling him Ross the Clown. And I know exactly what you're referring to when I see the clown emoji in my text messages. It's become a thing for sure. But I don't quite believe he is that inept. And I've been searching and trying to figure out what has gone into the decisions behind the offseason we've had. We missed out on Shohei. Let's talk about it every episode. We missed out on Shohei. Okay, great. Let's move on.
Hey, did you know that we missed out on Shohei? I don't think it was announced by anybody.
I'm just learning this now. Oh shoot, that's too bad. But anyway, the whole offseason has a lot of us down on our year, and we kind of were like, well, where are we going? How is this year actually going to go? So we didn't we said, oh, how do we compare with last year? We're not better than we were last year. We lost these guys and we didn't fill in the holes. Is that really what we need to compare ourselves to? I think we should take a look at how do the Jays compare with their competition this year as the rosters are currently constructed, and see how we feel about the Jays after looking at it through that lens rather than through the lens of how were we last year. We had this flashy team with a bunch of expectations and we didn't get better on paper. I think most people would agree we didn't get better on paper. So how do the Jays compare with the competition?
Marginal if we did.
Yeah. The competition having done some having done some splashy things. So let's take a look at a couple of the projected high-ranking teams in the AL East. Start with Baltimore, Logan. What did Baltimore do in the offseason?
Baltimore made a big trade for Corbin Burns. Cy Young winner.
That's a good
one. Very good
yeah.
pitcher.
Yes.
That, and then I think they're really giving their super prospect, Jackson Holliday, a chance to be on the team this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that might impact them positively. But other than that, I mean, they didn't do a ton.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of when I dove into it and I looked at their offseason, it's a bunch of coaching moves. They're trotting back most of the team from last year, which is a young team. Mm-hmm. That makes some sense. But as far as the changes or whatever, there's a lot of young players and there's not a lot of turnover with that franchise. But if we just expect them to, do we expect them, I guess rather is a better way to look at it. Do we expect the Orioles to be the same level they were last year? And why?
Personally, no. Could they be? Yes, I think so. But personally, I don't think so. I think lots of those guys are going to kind of have a bit of a book on them now. The rest of the league is going to know how to pitch to them. They're going to be able to deal with the runners on base because everybody had to adapt to the new style of base running last year. I think stolen bases and that sort of thing are going to go way down this year from last year because teams kind of are going to figure out ways to counter what was done last year.
Yep.
Right. So in that, when you think about all those sort of things and, guys' second year in the league, which is what it'll be for a bunch of these guys, generally, your numbers go down a little bit because of those sorts of things. So I think overall, Baltimore will not be quite as good as they were last year.
No, they were 101 wins last year, something like that, which
Yeah.
is that's
They played their
outstanding.
asses off last year.
Yeah,
They had
that's
a
outstanding.
pretty amazing year, and to
Yeah.
expect that again is kind of unreasonable. So I don't think it's possible for them to be as good as they were last year.
Okay. I mean, now PECOTA would agree with you. They're showing a huge regression of like 15, about 15 wins less than last year, which is
Yeah,
that's intense.
87 wins.
That's a lot less. I mean, you might be onto something there. That might be factoring into the PECOTA standings, as of now, because I'm thinking like 10, maybe 10 less or so, but they would still end up with 91,
Yeah,
which is
that's a lot
just
less.
it's very good. I guess we'll see.
91's got to like 91 wins. That gives you a chance to win this division. You can't win the AL East
Absolutely
with less than 90. I feel like,
no, not at all.
but 90 plus, you got a chance.
Now, odds-on favorite for the AL East right now, according to everybody and their dog in the majors and in the United States, I guess. Um,
It's got to be said though that like usual, everyone always expects the Yankees to be the first place in this division,
well, they have the highest payroll in the league at 290 million,
right?
which is about 90 million more than the Dodgers, which is hilarious. I just thought I would mention that. But what did the Yankees do this offseason? They got Soto in a trade.
Well, they
They
traded for
acquired
Soto. They gave
Stroman.
up the farm for Soto, and they acquired Stroman. Yeah,
So in my opinion, they have a very good team of starters on paper. It is like the last year's. It's like the Jays last year for me, where
yeah. If you
just
start rolling off their lineup,
it's like holy shit,
it's solid.
they're
I'm
good.
not going to say it's not.
Yeah, my issue is this is not a deep team. They have injury troubles every year, especially Judge. So if they run into injury
And
troubles,
Stanton and LeMahieu.
and Stanton's still there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So if they run
Stanton's got
into
a like 1,000-year contract.
okay, so they're projected right now at 94 by PECOTA. If they run into any injury problems, which I think is unavoidable, I don't think that
It's
won't happen.
162 games. There's no teams that aren't going to have injury
Yeah,
problems,
I
right?
I'm having a hard time seeing the Yankees over 90. They might be. Now that said, if they stay mostly healthy all year, they could achieve the PECOTA number. That totally,
Yeah.
they're really good on paper. You can't take anything away from them. I don't know. I just don't see. I'm not as excited about them as a lot of people in baseball.
Well, I mean, yeah. There's the effect that we are Jays fans, and we are going to be as down on the Yankees as we possibly can all the time, because that's the way life is for Jays fans. But as like a baseball fan, I agree. I think people are a little higher on the Yankees than they should be right now. I don't think signing Verdugo is anything special. Like
Completely
I
forgot
didn't
about
think he
that.
was. I didn't think he was very good with Boston. I don't think he's going to be any better as a Yankee. Um,
Yeah,
having Verdugo, he's going to play right field. Soto's going to play left field. That means you're going to put Judge at center field. And I'm not saying he's not capable of playing the position. It just takes way more wear. It gives way more wear on your
yeah,
body,
yeah,
and then him playing right field. And that he's a big dude, man. He's 6'7". Like you got to think about those sort of things.
yeah.
He's going to get
He can
injured.
climb
I
the
mean, I
wall.
hope he
Yeah,
doesn't because he's like, I hate saying it, but he's awesome. There's always one guy on the Yankees that I like have to like because he's so good, but I hate doing it. Judge is that guy.
he seems to be a good character off the field.
Yeah,
Like he seems to be a genuinely good dude. So it's hard to hate on the guy. Like if he was an asshole, it'd be like
right.
screw that guy.
Like it's easy to hate on Verdugo.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you, man. I'm like Judge, center field, We're going to see a fairly
He's
significant
good, and he's
time.
going to be good at it, but is he going to be on the field all season?
Yeah.
That's the big question.
We're going to see a fairly significant time on the injured list for Judge, and it's going to impact the Yankees' outcome. And their pitching, they can't be as bad luck as they were last year. I don't think for their starters. They were really bad luck for their starters last year. But
Man,
we'll
they
see.
had some bad luck.
Yeah.
I think they've got a pretty good starting rotation. Like, really
Yeah.
good. Is it the best? No, because I think ours is. But is it really close? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Um,
Yeah.
and the rumors of them signing Snell, I think, are just big rumors. I mean,
I'm not
they
afraid of
they
Snell.
no, me either. But
He's a
like,
mediocre pitcher. I said
he
it.
it would make their rotation better.
Sure. It could. Yeah. I'm not sold on Snell. I've never been a big Snell fan. And
You know
yeah, I
my
don't care.
opinion. I don't.
Give
Five and
me
dive guys can
yeah.
see you later. I don't care if
Make
he
all
won the
your
Cy
Cy
Young.
Young arguments that you want. That's
Yeah.
great, but much better pitchers haven't won the Cy Young, and it's just a whatever. It's an award
You know how
like
many
every other
Cy
award.
Youngs that Nolan Ryan won?
I'm gonna say 0. Yeah,
Zero.
there you go. Yeah, I didn't know that, but
Do
there
you,
was a guess.
do you know how many no hitters that Nolan Ryan threw? 7.
Yeah, he has records in all of
You
those
know how many
categories. Yeah,
strikeouts he has? It's 1,000,000.
yeah, yeah,
No one's catching his strikeout. Like,
and his
it's
innings pitched and all of the
all
stat.
that
Like it's
stuff.
crazy. Yeah, for sure.
So, you know,
Yeah,
I'm not. I agree. I'm not afraid of Blake Snell. Um, I do think it would kind of improve their. It would depth. It would add depth to their
depth.
rotation.
They would have some more depth for sure. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but am I overall afraid of the Yankees? Not really. I mean, in summary, they like us are relying on some bounce back years, and they made a flashy trade.
Yeah, yeah. So I get time will tell.
Time
But
will tell.
I'm not as sold on them as a lot of folks in the league. I'm gonna deal with
I agree.
Boston and Tampa in sort of one group here. Boston is a cooked goose, and if they have a really good year, then we'll have to come back on here and eat some crow. But they didn't do much, and they didn't have a great year last year. So I don't know what their plan is. So I'm just gonna say right now, I don't expect much from them. Uh,
They got called out by their star? Don't know if you saw.
no,
Rafael Devers called them out in the media the other day. He got asked about the team as it's currently constructed, and he says, "They know what we need. Everyone knows what we need."
okay, yep, there you go.
And yeah, he's calling them out for not spending money that needs to be spent, not building a team around him, etc. Um, so yeah, cooked.
Tampa Bay, sort of similar to Boston. I didn't see any like super splashy, notable moves. The
Yeah,
franchise seems to be like it's always quality. They always seem to put a good team on the field, and Kevin Cash is a great manager.
yep.
So he's gonna squeeze a few more wins out of that franchise than they would otherwise get. But I don't. What does PECOTA say? They say Tampa 86.5. Maybe yeah. That could be that could be close. They're just to me. I don't think they're a playoff team this year. They're not quite as dangerous as some previous years.
I agree. So I agree completely. I think they're on like a downward kind of trend in their with their luck of getting players. I want to say. I mean, it's not luck. They have an amazing like team of people that finds these diamonds in the rough and they make them work on their team somehow. But I think they're on a downward trend. I don't think that they finished as strong as they did last year. They lost a lot of good stuff. They don't have the pitching that they used to have. But at the same time, you can't count them out, right?
No, their
You can never
scouting. Yeah,
count out the Rays.
yeah, yeah. Their scouting department is great. They always put a quality team on the field, even with low fan support. So I'm not gonna just say they're a cooked goose like I will for Boston. They have potential
Yeah,
to. They could be last, or they could win the AL East. Like who?
they're always that like who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah,
Until you see them and then they go on like a 13-game win streak or a 13-game losing streak.
yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So as it stands, the PECOTA standings have New York with 94, Toronto with 88.4, Baltimore 86.9, Tampa 86.5, Boston 79.4. And as we've talked about this, like Toronto, we've been down on Toronto, not thinking, they might not make the playoffs. Are they gonna, where are they gonna be? Do you think, like, based on I was kind of comparing them to the other teams in the division because we were kind of down on our off season. So
Yeah.
when you look at it that way, though, do you think there's a chance we have a chance?
Look, so I've been as down as anybody on this team over the last 5 months. I thought we had a horrible, horrible off season. I thought we not making a splash on any player was just wrong for the team, for the like morale of the fans.
Right.
Uh, but then like spring started, the off season is over. Put that shit behind us. Focus on what we got, and it's not a bad team.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions about positions and who will start here and there, but I think like defense and pitching is how you build a ball club, and we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody has a good season, bounces back, Bo stays Bo, Vladdy bounces back. He said he expects to be 21 Vladdy, which cool. I don't think he can quite hit 48 home runs, but like
Yeah.
30 is not out of the question.
I love that
And
I love the bravado there, but it's sort of like Connor McDavid
yeah,
saying
he's
that
got to stay high on
the
himself. Like,
Oilers saying they're cup or bust this year before the year even starts. I just, you know what, just say, like, I feel good about this year. I think I'm gonna have a good year,
yeah,
but don't put anything on it to compare yourself to, because if you get off to
well,
a if he gets off to a slow start, it just
you're,
puts more
yeah,
pressure on himself and
yeah.
then you squeeze in the bat too much. I just say, look, I
He
feel
needs to
good.
just stay relaxed and have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
He needs to have fun, as much fun as he can. Because for
yeah.
him, if he's not having fun, he's overthinking shit and he's not going to get the hits. Like, that's just Vladdy,
Couldn't agree more. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think he needs to go out there and have fun. I think there's a good chance of that this year. Um, Even though they took away his friends, he'll bounce
Who's
back.
who's his friends?
Well, the barrio or
Oh,
whatever
the
is
Barrio.
gone. There's no more boys club at the end of the dugout or whatever. Which I like. I want the whole team to hang out together. Like I want everybody to be buddies with everybody, like in the eyes of the people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if we get everything that everybody has this year, we get the best of everybody. We could easily win the AL East, which is crazy for me to say after
Yeah.
what I thought of our off season. Um, but like there's the caveat there. Like these guys have to be great. Vladdy has to be very good. Varsho has to be slightly better.
Yeah.
Um, Whoever plays second base has to hit.
Yeah.
Uh, Kiermaier has to have another career year at the plate. Springer needs to bounce back. There's a lot. There's a lot that needs to really happen. I
Yeah.
think most of it can, but
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
still a lot.
it's still a lot for sure. And I like, to be fair, to be fully honest, we're gonna need something from somebody within our system. But like
Yep.
one or two of these guys from AAA that are in spring training right now
Yep.
are gonna have to have a breakout kind of rookie situation this year. Like
We need Addison Barger to start raking, or Spencer Horwitz to start absolutely mashing baseballs off
yeah,
major league hitters.
yeah,
Like that's kind of what we need that I
yeah,
see.
yeah. I can
Or what's that kid's name? That's the
Schneider.
outfielder. No, the outfield kid that I was talking about a few weeks ago, Robertson or something like that.
Oh,
He's
Will
Will
Robertson.
Will
Yeah,
Robertson.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Someone
who?
like him just needs to break out.
Yeah, for
He always
sure.
needs to like all winning clubs have someone like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like
Yeah,
there's a rookie or a young guy that just has a breakout season that you weren't expecting,
yeah.
and it just carries. It adds that little bit that you need.
Yeah,
So
he makes a go ahead hit or a good defensive play a few times
yeah,
through the year that steals a win or two. If he if that guy makes a few plays that leads to two or three or four extra wins because you've got a guy played a really great year.
well, and if he's just adding that spark too, just that like that
Yes,
fire to the team, like that's just something that you need.
Davis Schneider added that when he came in last
Right?
year, and everybody felt it.
Everybody felt it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
so
fair. Yeah,
I think so. My summary here is it's a 3-team division, as it usually is, I feel like, but it's New York, Toronto, Baltimore this year. Those are the guys, those are the teams to watch in this division. And potentially all three of them are going to the playoffs with the wild cards, right? So
right.
um, unless Texas and Seattle have really good years again, I don't know. I don't I don't follow enough of what they've been doing to say whether they're going to get better or worse. I don't think Seattle's gotten any better.
I don't think Seattle's gotten
Texas, I
better.
see nothing. So I don't really have a clue what's going on with Texas. They
Yeah,
should have their good pitchers back, so hopefully
I think they're
Texas is good
marching back
again.
most of their team from last year, so I think Texas will have a pretty decent season again. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
wild card fight's going to be two of the AL East teams and Texas and Houston, same as it was last year, right? So
right. Yeah,
um,
yeah. So the playoffs aren't out of
I don't think the playoffs are out of reach right now.
reach. Yeah, which is crazy.
I
Which is
don't.
crazy. We've been pretty down. I don't know if you watch our podcast
Yeah,
that often. We have not been super high on where things have gone this offseason. So the fact that we're getting a little bit of positivity towards it,
we got
based
our
on
hopes absolutely destroyed at the very start of the offseason,
yes,
and
yeah,
it set a tone.
yeah, it set
I'm
a
not going
tone.
to lie,
Yeah,
and I have I think I've done a pretty good job of saying the off season is over. Got to forget about it. Got
yeah.
to
Move
work with
on.
what we got now,
Yep.
and the outlook isn't as bad as it felt like it was going to be.
Okay, now I'm going to come back to is Ross Atkins going to be MLB's Executive of the Year in 2024? The question that we let off with. Reason why is because we've been so down on him, but we just sort of laid out all of this the path to possible success for the Blue Jays. If everything goes the Blue Jays' way this year, and they have maybe they get the playoff win, maybe they get a win a round or and some more
Yeah,
in the
maybe we make
playoffs,
it past the wild card round.
like that would be quite the coup for Schneider or for Atkins, and he could get extended. He could like he's gonna look like a genius for all of
Oh yeah,
his sort of his low level moves, which I still now think there's a trade of some sort in the works based on the number of older um, versatile players that they've been bringing into the minor league
yeah.
system. That there's something's got to give, right?
Well, are we going to get into that now? The acquisitions,
Well, it's part of.
because
I think it's part of Ross being. We don't have to talk about them specifically each. I just think it's part of
like I
Ross.
think like by the older guys in the minors, you're talking about like Escobar and Vogelback, right?
Those are the main. Those are the main minors
Those are the
guys.
main
Yeah,
ones, right?
yeah.
So like the chances of them making the team are
They're
slim
not making the team. None of them
if
are making the
someone
team.
doesn't get
No.
hurt.
Yeah.
Escobar has the best chance of making the team if he can hit like a maniac in spring training, because he has the ability to hit, has shown the ability to hit in previous years, and he's got a chance of possibly making the team if some weird things happen. But he has to really, really hit because he's not the best defensive infielder of the group.
Yes. So my
So the thing is, if it's my belief, if he doesn't make the team, then he will ask to be released so that he can try and make a different team.
oh, interesting.
We will not keep him in the minor league system if he doesn't make the team. Whereas with Vogelback, we might keep him in the minor league system if he doesn't make the team.
I think that we will be leaving Eduardo Escobar in the minor league system as the depth, and that
Yeah.
one of the younger guys or two of the younger guys is going to become part of a trade package to bring in somebody. And I don't know if it's a third baseman or if it's a second baseman or an extra outfielder or what. But it's going to be an impact player, I think,
Yeah.
if they do make a trade. And so I think that it's just there's too many utility type infielder guys in the mix right now.
Agreed. Yes.
To me the moves didn't make a lot of
Something's got to
sense.
give.
Yeah, and so if Ross Atkins isn't as much of a clown as we've been making him out to be all off season, and he's actually got a good head on his shoulders, there's got to be some reason for doing all of those signings. And to me, it's acquiring extra depth so that you can let go of, say, Espinal or somebody, and not be lacking
he's
in that
obviously the
position.
odd man out, right? That would be packaged in a trade because he's young enough to be worth something.
Yeah, and his 2.2 million or 2.7 million for this year
Is nothing, right?
it's pretty good.
So is there? I think you're right. There has to be a trade coming. I don't think it's going to be soon. I don't think we'll see it in spring training. Like, I think they're going to let this play out as long as they can. They're going to see what they've got with who they've got.
That's fair.
And then, I mean, if Escobar sticks around for some reason, then maybe some sort of trades are made in the coming months, but also like before the deadline, something
Sure.
will happen.
Yeah.
Almost for sure.
Yeah.
There has to be like, if there's a chance we're making the playoffs, we need to just try and find some other sort of like impact type bat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Right
Whether
there.
it's a righty or like it, in my mind, maybe it's a little old school. I think it's got to be a lefty at this point. But if it's a righty that hits righties and lefties really well, then I don't care. But we need some sort of like impact bat, and I think you're right. I mean, Ross Atkins said there won't be any more there won't be any more free agent acquisitions. The only addition will be made through subtraction, is what he said.
Yes,
Something
and
like that.
that was the
paraphrasing.
that was a statement that made me think that they would be bringing, if they're bringing these guys in, they would have to get rid of some guys to.
They're fully
make
open
that
to
happen.
trade, but they're not. Yeah, they want to stay below that next level of tax, and they want to have a buffer for if they need to spend at the trade deadline.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, trade's coming, almost 100%.
Yeah,
Unless people kind of like shock us in spring training.
yeah, we'll see. Okay, well,
But
I think
if all of the moves work out,
yeah,
you can't not consider him for executive of the year.
right. That would be crazy.
He made a whole bunch of like small 1-year deals, like pick up this guy, pick up that guy. We'll do this, we'll do that. If this happens, we'll put him here. And then if they like win a round of playoffs, or even like shocker, maybe 2 rounds, you can't not consider him for executive of the year, which would just devastate me because I hate the way the business is run.
That's that's fair, man. That's fair. But that's why they would be paying him the big bucks. So I guess he would have earned them at that point. So I guess
I don't get paid millions to build baseball teams.
Yeah,
I get paid $0 to just critique the shit out of them.
And that's what we do on Swinging a Drive. Okay, guys,
we're before
done.
we wrap it up.
Oh yeah,
I want to give a shout out to my buddy Craig, who hooked me up with this super awesome retro jacket. This thing's actually like from the 80s. I don't know if you can see on the
oh yeah,
the tags on it.
It's right in there.
This thing's super sweet. I'm loving it. So shout out Craig, thanks a ton, man.
Yeah, right on. That's cool. Sweet. Okay, and if you took anything from this video, as always, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel. We're gonna keep doing these videos. Doesn't really matter how many of you join up or not. We're gonna keep on doing it. So thanks for you to stay with us as long as you have, and if you do subscribe, we really appreciate it. So anyway,
Thanks a lot.
yeah, thanks guys.
See you
Go
next
Jays.
time.
Okay, peace.